It's that time of year again. Most of us have that gadget or device we've been eyeing all year, just waiting for the right time to pull the trigger. So we've partnered with Best Buy to bring you the details of the top deals going on right now. So stick around. Hey guys, it's the Villaman here, home theater enthusiast and lover of all things tech. And in this video sponsored by Best Buy, we want to share the details of the ever-present top deals section of their websites and the awesome Black Friday sale going on right now, so you can finally build out your home theater in a big way. Now, I've tested a lot of TVs this year and I have a few recommendations for you based on your room and how you plan to use it. And those TVs are on sale right now, so this is the perfect time to buy them. First though, let's talk about the Totaltech membership program that Best Buy has. It's a membership program that basically makes you a Best Buy VIP. And what I like about it is that you get free Geek Squad tech support 24/7, 365, up to 2 years of protection for most Best Buy purchases. You get free 2-day shipping, extended return and exchange windows of 60 days, among other things. Membership also comes with some exclusive offers which you can find at the top of their website. Not only that, they have the added layer of convenience where if you tend to get a little impatient like I do, then you have some fast delivery options for online purchases. So your purchases get to you quickly, or you can just pick it up in store. So at the top of the Best Buy website is where you'll find the ever-present link to the top deals section of their website. And the categories there range from everything like TVs, projectors, speakers, soundbars, to home, outdoor, and fitness. The deals we're looking at the time of making this video are valid until November 10th, so let's look at some TV deals. So these TVs will be my recommendation for you based on your room type. So whether you have a room with a lot of ambient lighting coming in, light control, or if you want a giant screen for your home theater for that added layer of immersion, let's get into it. Now there are some navigation buttons up top where you can choose between the featured offers, TVs 60 inches or larger, 48 to 65 inch TVs, smaller TVs, projectors, you get the idea. All right, let's get into the recommendation. And as always, you can find the links to everything I mentioned in the video in the description. Okay, so the first of our TVs I recommend for a bright room with a lot of ambient lighting coming in. So I'll be ranking these ones in reverse order from number 4 to my number 1 recommendation. And the first one is my 4th recommendation, which is the Sony X90K. Now this one is an LED TV and it gets really bright, not as bright as a mini LED TV, but it gets bright nonetheless. The reason why it's number 4 and not higher on the list, even though it has a competitive price, is because it doesn't have quite as good of an anti-reflective coating as I've seen on the competition. So that's why it is number 4. The Sony comes in several screen sizes from 55 all the way up to 85 inches. So if you're looking for that immersion, then it's definitely an option. Just know that number of local dimming zones is not as high as what you'd find on a mini LED TV. But that could be acceptable to some people. So my number 3 recommendation is actually the Samsung QN90B mini LED TV. Now, I've had this TV in here to test as well, and it has a great picture. The mini LED QLED from Samsung is a great performer pretty much every year, and this year is no different. It comes in up to an 85-inch screen size and supports everything from HDR10 Plus to HDR10 HLG, but it doesn't support Dolby Vision as typical for a Samsung TV. That said, Tizen isn't my favorite OS now. I don't like the redesign that they did to it, but it still has the selection of apps that you would want, like all the selection of apps. It's currently on sale for $400 off at $15.99, which is a great price for the 65-inch. If you want the biggest one, the 85 inches, then that one comes in at $2,800, and that's with $800 off the MSRP. So still not bad. Now, second place is actually the Sony A95K, and you may be wondering, why is the TV that's considered the best TV of 2022 only second on the list and not number one? One, because the price of this TV is pretty high at $3,000 on sale for the 65-inch version. Now, it's a QD-OLED TV, and it is all new for 2022. This is the first QD-OLED TV from Sony, the QD-OLED panels being one that Samsung makes, but this screen is limited to only 65 inches. Now, you can get the 55-inch version for $24.99, and in a smaller room, that would be a great option. But I think the bigger the screen size, the better, especially when you can swing it. But because of the price of this TV and the fact that it doesn't have that good of an anti-reflective coating on the screen, it's number 2 on the list. And it beat the QLED because it has a better picture performance and it gets pretty bright, especially with the added heatsink to the screen. It gets pretty bright for a bright room, so I don't think you'll have an issue watching this TV in a room with a lot of ambient lighting coming in. Number 1 on the list, my number 1 recommendation for a bright room is actually the Samsung S95B QD-OLED TV. And this one is all new and the first OLED TV from Samsung, and it comes in at a $400 off MSRP sale price at $18.99. And this is the number 1 recommendation because even though there has been some reduction in brightness from a firmware update that Samsung released, it's still plenty bright for a bright room, and coupled with Samsung's anti-reflective coating, which is some of the best I've seen, it's my number 1 recommendation because this TV is essentially good at everything from movie watching to gaming. It has all the gaming features you'd need, and it's great at both motion handling, and it has a great picture as well. So it's my number 1 recommendation for a bright room, which is the first I've ever done that for my recommendations for bright room watching, recommending an OLED TV for number 1, but you know, times are changing, I guess. Next, we'll look at TVs for you if you have a room where you can control the amount of ambient lighting coming in. My top 4 recommendations. Now, the first one is actually the LG C2 OLED TV, and this comes in at $60.99 at $400 off. And the reason why this is number 4 is that even though it has all the gaming features you'd want as well and support for Dolby Vision, HDR10 and HLG HDR formats, there are TVs that do what it does better. There are better performing OLED TVs in 2022. So this is my number 4 recommendation. Above this, at number 3, is the Sony A80K OLED TV. Now this is a WRGB OLED TV. Now this OLED TV is a WRGB panel from LG Display like the C2, but Sony has better picture processing than LG and a better HDR performance as well. So I think this one would be a better choice unless you're a real avid gamer. Then I'd recommend the C2 over this one. But for everything else, I would recommend the A80K over the LG C2 OLED. Coming in second is the Samsung S95B, and everything I said before remains true, but with the added brightness of the QD-OLED panel, it makes the picture just seems more dimensional, just has that added pop. So that's especially true when you have the infinite contrast of an OLED TV in a dark room. So the blacks are inky black, but the highlights are also very bright. So it has that dimensionality which a dimmer OLED TV just wouldn't have to the same degree. And my number 1 recommendation, which you could probably guess, is the Sony A95K. And this is actually number 1 for the light controlled room because of what I mentioned on the Samsung QD-OLED TV. Now, the Samsung QD-OLED TV gets pretty bright, but the Sony version gets even brighter, and coupled with Sony's picture processing, then this is the best HDR performance I've seen on any TV so far. So it is essentially next level, especially if you have it in a dark room. If you turn off the lights and just watch a movie, it is really striking. It's definitely worth the asking price if you are an avid movie watcher, but the limit of the 65-inch screen size may be an issue, and if you want a larger TV than the 65-inch, then stay tuned for the next list. Alright, so now let's look at the big boys, those large size TVs for those people who want a feast for the eyes. Number 4 on the list, coming in at $19.99, which is actually not on sale because this TV is so new, but it is a great option. It's the mini LED TV from TCL, their 6 series, and at 85 inches, it's a pretty big screen size, one of the biggest on the list. So TCL actually pioneered the mini LED backlight in the consumer space, so they have been doing mini LED TVs longer than any other manufacturer for consumers. So they have a good amount of experience making a great set with that technology, and the 6 series is no different. Number 4 is the third on the list is number 3 is the Samsung 85-inch. Number 3 is the Samsung 85-inch QN90B, which comes in at $27.99. Now, this is Samsung's flagship 4K TV for 2022, the mini LED TV. At 85 inches, you don't really need an 8K TV, and the future of those TVs are in question anyways, so this 4K set is more than enough as far as resolution is concerned, and at 85 inches, it's giant and a very good option because, as I mentioned before, the QN90B has some of the best gaming features you'll find on a TV, and it supports HDR10+, HDR10, HLG, and has that mini LED backlight system, so it has a lot of local dimming zones. Coming in third is the 83-inch LG C2 OLED TV, and it comes in at $39.99 with $1,300 off the MSRP. And I recommend this one over the G2 because the G2 is marginally brighter than the C2 is, but it comes in at $800 more. So unless you have a room which gets pretty bright, then I'm not sure that difference in price is worth the improvement in the image that the G2 provides. The C2 is great also if you're a gamer because it supports all the gaming features under the sun pretty much. So all the syncs, FreeSync, G-Sync, VRR, it supports all of them, supports Dolby Vision for gaming and movies, and of course it has that OLED picture quality with that punchy contrast. And that brings us to number 1 on the list, which is actually the Sony A90J. And this may be surprising to some of you because the A90J is 2021's flagship, but it has one of the best pictures even compared to the 2022 model TVs. The only TV that I've seen that beats the picture of the A90J is actually the A95K QD-OLED TV from Sony for 2022, but that TV is limited to only 65 inches. So if you want a larger screen size, I would definitely recommend the Sony A90J because as my number 1 recommendation, coming in at $47.99. So it still is a pretty hefty price, but that's because it has such great performance even when compared to the newer TVs. I know there will still be a few of you out there that may feel a bit apprehensive about buying a TV right now since it's not exactly Black Friday, but there are 2 really good reasons to shop today. 1, if you do, then you won't run the risk of an item you want being sold out by the time you try to buy it, and 2, because Best Buy has their price match guarantee. The price match guarantee is where if you purchase a qualifying item from Best Buy and you find the same item for a lower price elsewhere at a qualifying online or local competitor, then you get in touch with Best Buy, whether online or by phone or even your local store, and they'll give you a refund of the difference. Pro tip, you can price match Best Buy with Best Buy. The link to all the products I mentioned are, of course, in the description. So happy shopping, and thanks again to Best Buy for sponsoring this video. Let me know in the comments which TV you've gotten so far or which TV you're planning to get. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, this has been your friendly neighborhood Villa Man saying be safe and peace.